Okay, we're gonna get started. Hope you guys can see us.
It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by TheDartZone.com. Stay in the zone. TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Right. Welcome.
We're here.
We are here.
Mystery Mark, Steve Pananciaman, the Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Hi to everyone around the world. Hi to everybody struggling with the chat.
Yes. Change is good.
Keep saying that.
We think.
Keep saying that. Change is good. Change is
is
good.
good, yes.
I've been a very busy boy, and thank you for the compliments. The website is up.
Yes.
darttalk.us is where we're going to have everybody watch the show.
Right.
You could probably still do it the old way, but don't get used to that because there are more changes in the offing. So what we want everyone to do is go to the website to watch the show. If you're having a problem with the chat, email darttalk@gmail.com and be as specific as you can as far as what the problem is, and I will try to fix it. If this
Right.
chat little gizmo isn't working, then I'll find one that is.
Okay.
We didn't really have time for
Yeah.
this is production testing, I guess, according to Bill. We're gonna check it out on the fly. So if you guys are having a problem seeing the show in the new format or any other issues, just email them to darttalk@gmail.com if you can't post them in the chat, and we will fix them one by one. Our crack technical staff,
The tech staff that worked overtime to do this,
right?
which apparently they weren't working for weeks, but
Well,
when it came down
I was
to
a very,
they had
very
to work
busy
overtime.
boy. I can guarantee you that. I put a lot of time into getting the chat done, or not the chat so much, but getting the website done. And
Right.
thanks everybody for the compliments. I mean, you saw it. What did you think?
I like it. Looks good.
You saw it on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks better on like a PC.
Well, I
but-
haven't looked on the PC yet, but yeah. Came up on my phone and everything was there.
Everyone who listens to the show and listens to the audio podcast, you guys need to go to Dart Talk US at least once a week. I put a poll up there.
You did.
Yeah,
yes.
we'll change it every week. The poll question for this week is
Should 501 and cricket
be a separate deal. Like, should we keep them separately in the Dart Talk rankings? Which means,
rankings, that was
which
it.
Means
I
now
drew a blank on the rankings.
Right.
Should the rankings for 501 and cricket be separate?
So if you guys want to weigh in on that, just go to darttalk.us and go to one of the pages there, and you will see on the right-hand side, there's like a little poll thing. So vote.
Right.
You can only vote once. There's no ballot stuffing.
Yes.
I have total control
You have
over
figured that out? So
Well, I could tell you a little story. It was kind of funny, but I don't
let
know
me
if I
run
really
the
wanna get
disclaimer
into it.
first before you
Run away.
tell any stories.
Run.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
Okay.
The
So,
views and opinions.
see, that's why you have the silence thing after that. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You have that thing set for repeat. We're training a new audio engineer.
yeah,
It's going
really?
to be a fun
This
show.
is crazy. All right.
Anyway, okay, so we got a lot to get to. If you look in the crawl, we've got Premier League results from last week.
All right. Good.
You know, Phil Taylor still hasn't won yet, but he's managing to win more and more legs each week.
I'm sure that's very positive for him.
Well, and then the UK field for the UK Open is set. Congrats, Singing in the Rain, Sean the Rain.
Nice.
Qualified for the UK Open, and it was actually pretty impressive because he only went over there for one weekend. A lot of guys, played 6. He only played 3, and he still got through. I think that's pretty cool. And John Part, beloved John Part.
Right.
So we have 2 North Americans that are going to be playing in the UK Open, and you probably, I don't know if you were on the show when Gary Mawson went all the way to the final, but it was like really cool. It's a different tournament. You'll have to watch it. They have matches, like 5 or 6 matches going on at the same time, like with the crowd in the middle, so you could kind of look at this board, look at that board. It's very different than what you've seen in like the normal PDC kind of tournament. So I like watching it. I mean, some people think it's goofy, but
like the goofy cam.
like the goofy cam's for goofy. So I was going to try to get a guest on this week, but we're going to have him on next week. Let's do a little news. I know we're probably already running late, but should we read anything into this? The goofy camel. Okay. See, I can't look at the chat. You have to do the chat. I can't. And
anyway, what's the news?
Well, there
you
is
said
some.
We're going to do some news. We're not even close to being on a break yet. We started late.
I'm out of breath. Anyway, okay. So here's the deal. Friday at midnight Pacific.
Okay.
So that's what, 3 in the morning on the East Coast,
I
2 in the morning
so,
in
yes.
Central, right?
Yeah.
Is the deadline for registering for the North American Dart Championship.
All right. Which is when?
Well, that is the weekend of March 14th through 16th in Midland, Michigan.
Okay.
And I had a long talk with Jay Tomlinson of Bullseye News this afternoon. He's going to come on the show next week because, quite honestly, I was a little confused about some things. And he's been sending emails to all the players, that are qualified. I guess I just made the cutoff on the PDC Order of Merit for North America, so I'm like going to be a seeded player or something. But he's been sending email to the wrong email address. I had an email address that, I used
you don't
to
use it anymore?
Well, yeah, I used it for years, but now I use darttalk@gmail.com because
So you
I
never
get so
check
much
it.
email. I never check the other one, and it's mostly, like ads from Cigar King. I
Right.
don't smoke cigars anymore, so I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to unsubscribe, so I kind of ignored that one. So he's been sending, all this detailed information about the event, and I'm like, hey, Jay, I didn't get this stuff. So here's the one thing that everybody needs to kind of understand when it comes to the North American Dart Championship.
All right.
It is not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with the PDC. So if there are people out there, and I know there's a few that are interested in going to Lakeside and they're worried about this, like, 180, BDO 180 rule and all that, this tournament will have no effect
Well, that's
on
good.
any of that. So don't let that stop you from
Registering.
Right. If you don't register by midnight Friday Pacific time, you can still get in, but it's going to cost you another like $25. So I don't know why you would procrastinate any further than Friday, like me.
Unless you weren't sure whether you were going to be able to make it or not. But
Well, and that's the one thing I like about having, what do you call it, like a soft deadline or something where it's hard for guys to commit to traveling and stuff like that. Things go on. All of a sudden your boss finds out you want to go to a dart tournament, and it's like, oh, well, we need this done or that done, and stuff like that. So if you go to bullseyenews.com, you can find all the information on the North American Dart Championship, which I was kind of like, I'm going to have Jay on the show next week so we can grill him a little bit, because I think a lot of people in the darting community are not really 100% certain what all is going on with excuse me, with the North American Dart Championship. And remember, we got confused, right? Like it was NAPTA,
Oh, yeah, easily.
and then somebody in the chat
Absolutely.
room is screaming, it's not NAPTA, it's NAPTA
yes,
with an extra
yes,
P.
yeah.
So for people that are confused, and we'll have Jay clarify this next week, but now my current understanding
Okay.
is that the North American Dart Players Association. Did you get that? See how distracting the chat
North
can be?
American Dart Players Association.
Has been collecting 3% of all the prize money from the PDC North American Tour and the NWDS and all that from last year, right? Which is why, you look at your prize money and you're like, hey, you're light, so. But they're using all that money to fund the North American Dart Championship, right? So, and it's like 100% payout. Whatever they're taking in, this is my current understanding. Whatever they took in from all these events, they're paying out at the North American Dart Championship. So, if you didn't play at least 2 events, they're making you join the association for, I don't know, $25 or something like that. I mean, it's
right.
It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm not a big association fan. I'm not a joiner. I like joining things, especially when I don't know who's running things. But we'll get Jay on to talk
Only when
about
you
it
have
next
to.
week. Jay will talk about it next week, because the other thing that people need to know is that if the people that need to qualify, which is practically everyone, is supposed to be there Saturday, and they're going to run these 3 qualifiers. If it turns out that they don't need to run 3 qualifiers, Jay says they're going to run some other event.
Who are the only ones that don't have to qualify?
Well, anybody who doesn't have anybody who's in the no. Okay, I believe this is correct. If you're not in the top 16 of the money list, you have to qualify.
Okay.
And I think they're only taking 64 people. So if 3,000 people show up, Saturday's going to be a busy day, right?
Well, yeah.
You're going to have to get down to what's, 16 is, so it's 48. They're only going to 48 spots, and actually it may be more because some of the seeded players may not be able to make it. There's also a tournament in Vancouver. So a lot of the people chasing, BDO ranking points and stuff may go to Vancouver instead. I mean, I'm not really sure, but I don't know. I hope that's not us that's saying that. Anyway, so the North American Dart Championship is kind of like, I think, well worth playing. The qualifiers are all best of 11. The Sunday event is best of 11 knockout until you get to the semis is best of 13, and the finals best of 15. They're going to be streaming it, I believe.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's well worth attending, and it's kind of funny because somebody started a new discussion group, like a dart discussion group on Facebook, which is actually the best one I've seen in a while. I mean, there's a lot of intelligent conversation, and, people are being thoughtful and polite and everything, which is, awesome. And, one guy was talking about getting darts on TV, and I mean, basically in Michigan at the North American Dart Championship, we're going to have darts on TV. I mean, it's not terrestrial, and it'll be on the internet, but it's a start. Okay, so I guess it's time to take a break. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve P., and we'll be back in a minute or two.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. You did that very well.
Hey,
So you're
thank
getting
you.
the hang
Thanks,
of it.
thanks.
It just must be hard because
It's a
you're
little-
right-handed and it's on your left.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. We need a... Anybody in
Well, and
Chicago
the-
wants to be our audio engineer and
And the
chat
fact
room
that I have to
guy,
look at
you
the
know,
laptop and
sideways.
supposedly at the camera at the same
Well,
time.
no, that's why we have the goofy
Oh,
cam on
okay.
you. So when
Yeah.
you turn your head, baby, they can still
Can they
see
still
you.
see me?
Yeah, I think so. Actually,
I
that
don't know. I
thing's
can't
a
look
little-
and see the goofy.
I think it's a little cockeyed. Maybe I can fix it on the break. Anyway, a couple of things happened in Port City over the weekend.
Okay, really. Let's hear it.
Well, there was a Players Challenge Series match
Nice.
for one.
Just one?
Just one. Levi Remick and Bazooka Joe Efter
that
faced
go?
off. Well, it went better for Levi than it did for Joe Efter. So Levi beat him, I want to say 10-6. And they said, Levi said that there were quite a few people watching by the end of the match.
Oh, that's good.
So, and then this weekend,
Were they able to stream it or no?
I don't think so.
No.
I think somebody kind of recorded it with their camera, but their hands were shaking. It was like a rock concert. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if that's going to fly. But there are two matches this weekend. It is actually an interesting tournament that I'm going to try to get to, but I don't think it's going to happen. Youngstown, Ohio. Great. I know it's great football country, but it's also great dart country. A lot of great darters that play in and around. I think somebody said there was a triangle between Cleveland, Youngstown, and something else. I don't know if it's Pittsburgh or Columbus. I don't know what the deal is, but a lot of good players have come out of that area. And the Youngstown tournament is I don't remember what the charity is, if it's for the Darts Hall of Fame or something, but it's always a very well-attended tournament. It's always a very tough field. And we're going to have a couple of Ohio matches.
All right.
We don't have dates and times yet. We're working on that, and I actually haven't posted the bios and stuff. I just got the last one today. So we'll post that tomorrow. But Gordon Good Stuff Dixon, you know Gordon?
Yeah, I knew he was from that area.
Yeah, Gordon's from, if not in Columbus, like kind of right outside Columbus, is going to play Kevin Yazinchek.
All right.
Who's, Kevin's one of these like kind of younger, I don't know how hungry he is, but he always seems determined to win at these tournaments. I don't know how long he's been playing because he sent me his bio like a month ago and I forgot what it said. So, but he's going to play Gordon Good Stuff Dixon, and then the other match is going to be a good one. Is Nick Lindberg, who's one of these people that shows up at tournaments and does very well, and everybody's like, "Who is that guy?" Right? Nick Lindberg is going to play Pat Jurison, and Pat's one of these guys that's like really trying to get out on the road now, really trying to travel, trying to move up, in the rankings and stuff like that. And, I saw him play a couple of times last year, and he really had improved from because I hadn't seen him in like a year and a half, and he was really playing well. And I was like, well, good for you. So Nick Lindberg and Pat Jurison are going to play.
Where are we in the first round? Halfway or?
Depends.
Oh.
Depends. Right
I didn't
now,
expect
well,
that
because,
answer.
well, no, yeah, and everybody's going to blame me and say, well, this thing is really disorganized, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but we're trying to get in as many matches as possible all over the country, and there are issues. The Florida match, for instance, Gary Mawson and Tim Adams were going to play at Space Coast, and they moved the tournament. So these guys are trying to find a weekend to play. But, every weekend they find, somebody like Gary's going to be in Michigan for the
Right.
North American Dart Championship. So there's like a small tournament that they were going to play in Florida there, and Gary can't make it. So what are you going to do? And then I don't know what's going on in California with Howard Myers and J.D. Newman. I'll reach out and see. Howard's had like work issues. Like he canceled this tournament, was going to go there, couldn't go there. So, I mean, at some point, it'll be... okay, nice. We'll get you next year.
Yeah,
kind of
right.
thing.
I mean, yeah.
But we may. We'll have. We're probably going to have a pretty big PCS announcement next week. As far as like where we are in the first round, I know everybody's asking for brackets and stuff, but maybe I made a mistake. Right? Here's what I did. I mean, I put together like a discussion group for the people that were gonna play. Right? And it was supposed to be just for the people that were going to play. And I was like, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's what I want to do. If you're in, say you're in. So I had a couple of 8-foot long Facebook posts.
Right.
Who wants to read something 8 feet long? So I think some of the players maybe kind of
Depends on how
skimmed
much
over
time
some
you
stuff.
have. Right, yeah, sure.
But one of the concepts behind the Players Challenge series is that it wasn't going to cost the players a dime. We were going to schedule them at tournaments they're already going to, right? And there's no entry fee.
Right.
Right? All you have to do is bring your game and keep stats.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we ask of you. And put on a show and represent the game.
That took 8 pages?
You'd be surprised. Okay. So, but I put a Facebook page out for everyone else where I was just going to, here's the player bios, here's the match reports with the stats and everything. We're going to migrate all that to the Dart Talk US website. Hopefully I'll have that done like maybe by Sunday night.
Okay.
So people don't have to log into Facebook to see this stuff. They can just go to the website, and if they're already on Facebook, they can still go to the website. So, but I don't believe I'm going to keep it in 2 places. I think one place is enough. So if you look at the website, I mean, especially you guys that catch the podcasts, there are now links. If you go to darttalk.us, there are links to every single show we've done, every audio show and every video show. We have 105.
Wow.
When did we break 100?
I don't know. We didn't.
Party.
Yeah,
we
that's
have
what
at
I'm
least
saying.
had a beer.
How come we didn't have 100 show episodes?
Yeah, we didn't like and
shindig.
And maybe my 3-year anniversary is in June. And I'll chip away at these. Maybe we can come up with some weird highlight show and we'll pull like the funniest bits. But I mean, that
won't take long.
Well, no, there's like 120 hours of Dart Talk.
Yeah.
So 100 if you listen to every single show and you started in Portland, Maine and drove west, how far would you get? You could probably listen to Dart Talk all the way to Chile.
The way, yeah.
Or something. I don't know. I think
you would have think we would have at least had a little sign saying, "Hey, this is our 100th episode." With
I lost
some
count.
balloons or something.
I mean, I just lost count, and I guess it's my bad. But congrats.
Well, you only missed it by 5.
Well, so
if it was like our 140th episode, then you would have really blown by it.
Anyway, let's do some results. So Port City.
We have results.
Well, yeah, we have results from Port City. You want to do the DPNY ones because it's not very long. Maybe you can actually see them.
I can't see the Port City ones. But
no, there's no way you can read that.
I can't see them.
Okay. So the DPNY had their Open Tour event number 1 of the year and the Ladies Tour event number 1 of the year. And I should commend Anthony for this. Open and Ladies. There's been some discussions about that because ladies can play 2 events. Guys can only play 1.
Oh.
Rampant discrimination against the men.
Right.
I just am like, whatever. So,
your men's, the Open Tour would be top 8 Rick Birmingham, Rich Hammond, John Lagamba, and George Timpone. Did we ever clarify if that's Timpone or
Timpone? Yeah,
it is
we
Timpone.
did.
Okay.
I think he politely corrected me last year.
It's Timpone.
Yeah.
Ryan Vanderwheat and Darren Starr for, top 4, and Joe Pierce, second place with Bob Garzone as your winner.
Yeah, congrats to Bob. I mean, we tried to get him in the Players Challenge Series, and he had work issues. Okay. So that's one of the things where I'm wondering if we can radically expand the first round and get like a whole bunch more matches in. So I'm looking at the logistics now to see if we do that, what we're going to end up doing is having the final instead of in October. The final may be in January or, later. I mean, we'll have to see. But so we'll announce all that probably next week as far as like what we're doing, and we will either announce way more first round matches or we'll start announcing when the second round matches starts. And where they're going to be. It's going to be one or the other. So,
all right. So then for your ladies event, you have Carmen Aportella and Janice Hogue for top 4. Kim Weisberg and second place, and Nikki Carey is your winner.
Well, congrats to Nikki and all the ladies. a well-attended event, I'm sure. He sells these things out. I mean, he's doing great. And we should mention, he's doing so well that they're starting one in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's cool.
And I got an email from somebody, and he's like, well, how come you can't do this in Chicago? And I think over the internet he heard me rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Right.
So, and it was kind of interesting because, like, you know Pizza Terra, and you played in that singles league he had. This would be way better. You know, like once a month, once every 6 weeks, la-di-da-di-da. They get the bars to kick in. You get 32 players. You play long format knockout, a great day of darts, and you're done.
Right.
I mean, isn't that better?
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah.
And then
So,
to
I don't know.
struggle to find a time between you and your opponent in 1 week's span.
It just gets to be like, I had one guy in the singles league where it was like schedule your own match, where he literally on purpose just kept putting me off and putting me off and putting me off, and then was like, well, let's play 2 matches in one day. But he played everyone else. He only rescheduled me.
Well, you're not even supposed to do that because if you don't play your match within a week, I
Well,
know
again,
I know there's leeway with that stuff, but still.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you if you're going to make the thing so rigid, then it's like,
Right.
you know,
But
it's
at
kind
least
of a
something
drag,
like that,
but
it's
you gotta
like,
have some guidelines.
Here's the venue.
Yeah.
6 weeks from now, everybody enter.
Well, pre-registration.
Yeah.
Right. And he's got a waiting list. He's
Yeah.
basically like, hey, we got 2 open spots. You're the next 2 you're in.
Right.
I mean, he's doing great there. And you know, there's a lot of players like kind of right around that tri-state area. There's players in Jersey. There's players in Long Island. There's players in New York. I mean, you know, I don't know if the upstate New Yorkers go. I don't know if the Pennsylvania people go. But, I mean, it's not that hard to get around there. But for Chicago, give me a break.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happened to this town. Anyway, let's do some Port City
It's
results.
actually a city.
Well, I call it a town. It's funny. When you've been in a place for a long time, it just shrinks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
It just shrinks. So I go to like we were in Huntsville, and I was like, oh, check it out. You know, la-di-da-di-da. Like it was a big city. Like it was like a thrill. I'm from Chicago. It's like 10 times the size of this, but I enjoyed it. Anyway, okay, Friday mixed doubles at the 33rd Port City Open. Top 4 was Holly Frary and Darren Young and Kirsten McCandless. I'm sorry, this is triples. Okay, and wow, this is hard to read.
Yeah,
There's
it
only
is.
one top 4 here. Okay. Anyway, second place, Andrea Taylor, Paul Bolduc.
There's only 2 of them?
Yeah, this is weird. Okay. So, Kirsten McCandless played with somebody. Holly and Darren played together, and that's top 4. Second place was Andrea Taylor and Paul Bolduc. Nice guy. And the winner was Soldier Gates and Callie West. Interesting.
That was a mixed doubles.
Way to go, Leonard. Yeah. In the Friday night draw doubles, I can imagine the give me a break that went over when they heard this. Okay, so Stowe Bunce and Ryan Terrazzano, top 4 with Nicholas Bowen and Brent Hamill. Second place, Andy Hanna and Jason Knights, and winners were Jim Widmer and Soldier Gates. I mean, I can imagine a lot of people just, you know
Saying,
how it is
seriously?
at a blind draw. Like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me? Yeah. So Soldier Gates 2 for 2 on Friday. Saturday's mixed doubles. And this is one of the things I like about Port City. I mean, I've only been able to go there once. 2 mixed doubles. I mean, Virginia Beach had that, but you don't see that very often. So the Saturday mixed doubles, let's see. Top 4, Camilla Bonnell and Dell Hodgkins, Dawn Berry and Ken Marshall. Second place, Jimmy Wood and Robin Curry. And the winners were Holly Frary and Darren Young. Women's doubles cricket, top 4, Gail Payne and Carolyn Mars. Wow. Check. That's like a Hall of Fame team. Donnelly Mew and Holly Frary. Second place, Betty Cunningham and Patty Waltz. Betty signed with Dart World, I think. Callie Weston, Robin Curry were the winners. Whisper Twins, victorious. Where are you? Men's doubles cricket. Dave McQuaid, Fred Mula, Big Dan Benner, and Stowe Bunce, top 4. Jeff Smith and Jim Widmer, second place to Darren Young and Larry Butler. I have a new nickname for Larry. But
Okay.
we'll
We'll get that after the break.
It's not nasty or anything. I was just gonna. I just was sort of like, hey, Larry, where's the bracket, Butler? Instead of where's the beef, where's the bracket? I thought that was funny. All right, women's singles 501, top 4, Jamie Brenner, Pam Briggs. Second place, Callie West. The winner, Robin Curry. Congrats, ladies. Men's singles 501, top 4, Bob Seneve and Chuck Brousseau, I think. Leonard Gates second to Larry Butler. Saturday draw doubles, top 4. Mark Look, Evan Strout, Derek Dubiel, Jeff Smith. Second place, Mike Garari and Pat McKeon. And the winners, Jamie Benner and Martin Tremblay. Well attended tournament with Canadians there. Sunday mixed trips. Let's see here. Betty Cunningham, Soldier Gates, Bob Seneve, Robin Curry, top 4. Callie West, Jeff Smith, second place to... Oh, this is triples, so I messed this up completely.
Yeah. You read 4 names.
Okay, well, that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
So it was Callie West, Jeff Smith, and Jim Widmer, second place. Dave Walsh, Joe Efter, Kirsten McCandless, first. And then top 4 was Betty, Soldier Gates, and Bob Seneve, and Robin Curry, Daryl Christie, and Bruce Robbins were top 4. Sorry about that, guys. Sunday women's doubles, 501. Top 4, Kelly Guggens, Nicole Chase, Kirsten McCandless, April Leonard. Second place, Lynn Keogh and Carol Rawson. And the winners were the Whisper Twins. Men's doubles, 501.
Big shock.
Top 4. They're doing good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Dave Walsh and Joe Efter, local guys. Paul Bolduc, Martin Tremblay from the Great White North. Tom and Tom Sawyer, Tom Curtin, checking in with second place. Jeff Smith, Jim Widmer, victorious in the doubles, 501. Women's singles cricket, top 4. Callie West and Robin Curry, second place. Trish Grezik, the winner, Marliese Keel. Marliese been on a tear.
Yeah.
Marliese playing great. Yeah, I don't know. I heard she wasn't going to Virginia Beach. That's too bad. Men's singles cricket, top 4. Joe Efter and Tom Curtin. Second place, Jeff Smith and Leonard Gates. Soldier Gates won the cricket on Sunday for the men.
He's a cricket master.
Yeah, well, we've had this conversation. You know, soft tippers going to play steel cricket shouldn't be a big deal, right? 501, forget about it. Totally separate deal. Youth adult 13 and over. Philip Stearns, Michael Harnden, Tyler Driscoll, and John Stearns. Second place, Dan Munson and Daryl Christie. And the winner, Paul Costalis and Bazooka Joe Efter. For the 12 and unders, youth adult, McIntyre, Sousey, Jim Morehouse, Matt Robbins, Tom Sawyer, top 4. Josh Demers and Todd Bumgarner, second place. And the winners, Levi Remick and Jacob Demers. The youth singles 13 and over, Dan Munson, Philip Stearns, top 4. Paul Costalis, second place. Tyler Driscoll, first. Youth singles 12 and under, Owen Sousey, Kaylee Roy, top 4. Jacob Demers, second, and Josh Demers, victorious. Those are your Port City, 33rd Port City Open results. We'll have those in the crawl next week if you guys missed it. Yeah, guess we did that right on time.
Yeah, worked out
All right,
well.
we'll take a minute or so for me to have a sip of coffee, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Penuncielman, and we'll be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half.
Second half is correct.
Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. You guys should go to the Cosmo website. They got some new stuff out. Some new signature flights and
I might
stuff.
have
They
to
look
do that
pretty
then.
cool. Yeah. I guess what Cosmo's doing now, which I was not aware of, is they're putting out like limited edition kind of flights and stuff. So if you don't get them when they have them, you're out of luck, kind of thing. So you got to step on that. You got to get that. They got some cool new shafts too. What are they called, like Queen something?
Well,
or
what
other?
happens if you break your flights?
You get new ones.
If they're limited edition, you can't. You're out of luck.
Buy them up. Get 10 sets. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how
It's
often.
kind of weird.
Well, look,
What if you really love these things and you wanted to use it the rest of your life?
I don't know.
Why would you buy them to begin with then?
What about the people that like driving Corvairs? I mean, eventually you got to replace it. You know, I mean, the AM transistor radio with the single plug you had in your pencil case to listen to baseball games in school, you don't have that anymore. Right? I mean, embrace the technology. Don't fight it. You know what I mean?
Okay, but what's the limited edition makes it sound like they're going to make 100 of them and then they're gone.
Well, it's more. I'm sure it's way, way, way more than 100. But it's one of these things where it's like, you know, they keep coming up with new stuff, but then, you know, it's like
Oh, so it's like buying a new driver every year.
yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay,
Except
except
they're the same flights. They're just a different design.
right.
I mean, it's not like, you know, how are you gonna?
That makes a little more sense, but
I'm waiting for somebody to come out with a flight with 5 fins. I've seen the ones with 3, and I've seen the ones with 4. It's like the razors, right? With all of a sudden
Yeah,
there's 4 or
right.
5 blades. When are we going to get a
closer
flight
shape.
with 6 fins? And will that help?
will
you?
it help? That's what I was going to ask you.
I don't know. If it does, I guarantee you Cosmo will come.
Well,
out
somebody will
with
come up with it.
If no, these guys are sharp. If
They're
there's
probably
like,
doing technology on it to see if it does help.
yeah,
I'm sure.
you know, wind tunnel testing and whatnot. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, at some point, you know, there's too much drag or something, but then you could make them smaller. But if it makes your if you're an average player and your dart doesn't fly like super straight in the air, and there's a little bit of wobble or a little bit of fishtail and stuff like that, and a 5-fin flight would eliminate that,
Oh, you'd be all over it.
would they probably have had it by now?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look at the Brits. The Brits are throwing typewriters. They got nylon shafts with the rings and stuff. I mean, haven't we moved past that?
Yeah.
You know? It's like me using, like, you know,
Well,
the
maybe
old
that just
Hogan Apexes.
but maybe
you know?
that just
I mean,
proves that you don't need all the new stuff.
I don't know. I still have a wood 4-wood.
Yeah.
But believe
seen
me, yeah. Well, I can still hit it, but believe me, you know, the new one, go way further.
Well, of course.
Way further. I mean, give me a break. Embrace the technology. Get with it. Dump your typewriters. That's what I'm saying. We got to start doing equipment reviews, too. I kind of
But
put
they
that
seem
on
to
the
be
website.
winning.
Who's winning?
The British that are using the typewriters.
Yeah, but they're not winning because of the typewriters. They're winning because their format and what they play helps them play better. We have a stupid format. That
I know,
hurts
but
your
what I'm
game.
saying is, so it's not necessarily technology
What?
because they can use the old stuff and still win.
Well, Phil Taylor changes his darts. He's got a new set of darts now.
Right.
That,
Well,
you know,
how's
believe
that-
me,
how's
if he
that
didn't
working?
think that, well, he's getting used to them. I mean, it's hard to get used to new darts. I don't understand why he went to like that bulge barrel. You know, I think straight barrels are better. I think they're more versatile. But he's getting used to them, and I mean, isn't he the most successful dart salesman in history?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people have a set of Phil Taylor darts? I mean, everybody on the planet. And if they don't have Phil Taylor darts, they've got knockoffs. Right, a set somewhere. Like somebody made like knockoff Phil Taylor darts, and they're kind of grippy. The old ones, the straight barrel ones. The new ones, I tried to throw those, and I was like, because I'm so used to straight barrels now, the bulge barrels, I'm like,
You
they
couldn't do it,
Yeah.
right.
I tried to throw Witties over the weekend. I was in Michigan, and somebody had Witties, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Do you remember curly flights?
Oh, wow. Is that from the chat room?
Yeah.
Smartest chat room in
Hickories.
the business, although now we have 2. By the way, chat room, I will address that in a minute. By the way, chat room, you guys need to start using the chat that's on the website. If you're having issues logging in next week, get in there a little bit earlier and maybe we'll sort some stuff out. If you're having problems, tell me what happened. Email it to darttalk@gmail.com. We will get it working, but my plan is that Ustream is going to go away. And we're going to have a different technology that we're going to stream the show with, and hopefully we're going to get like a much sharper image and stuff like that, and it'll come in clearer and look better, and then all we have to do is get somebody pretty instead of me for you guys to look at. But
Right.
Maybe I'll just kind of talk off camera. We can just have, somebody nodding their head, I don't know if that would be compelling.
Nodding their head or bouncing something up and down, one of the two.
If Kate Upton was in this chair and I was off camera talking darts and she was just smiling and nodding her head and every 90 seconds said, "That's brilliant," I would be a star right now. If Kate Upton was saying I was brilliant, believe me, a lot of people would agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that works. Anyway, so on the chat, you guys that are chatting in Ustream need to go to darttalk.us, click on live broadcast, and use that chat. Mark is going to try to follow 2 chat rooms at once, and to be honest with you, no offense, he's not that good at following one. So following 2 is very, very hard.
All right.
So we
comes out.
You guys that are listening to the audio podcast, obviously you don't have to worry about this, but I do want you checking in on the website and voting on the poll at least once a week. That's all I ask. Now, getting back to these curly flights.
Yeah.
They were kind of spirally. And I remember the first time I saw them, and I was like, what is this supposed to do? And I don't know if the designers thought that it was going to add spin to your dart, but I was just thinking, it's never going to work. It's like having a fixed propeller on a plane and trying to throw the plane. I mean, the plane dives to the ground. So they looked kind of
didn't
cool,
last.
but yeah, I don't see anybody using them. No, but the 5-fin flight, I'm curious about that. I'm so tempted to just take scissors and some glue and take some old flights and cut them up and kind of fix them and then see how they work. Yeah, that's my latest idea of the day. Don't worry about it. Talk some PDC.
Well, you make some origami flights and see if those work.
Origami flights. Well, yeah, make them out of tissue paper,
Yeah.
and then they'll never get in your way, and you'll just tear them up. Yeah, nice. I like that. And especially talk about planned obsolescence. Sell the origami flights, and you sell them in cases of
Yeah.
250. Might slow the matches down a little bit. By the way, we have to do a shout out.
All right. About to whom?
Our musical director had a birthday yesterday.
Oh, good for
So
him.
happy birthday, Jeff Dodson. I don't know if I posted that
Happy
somewhere
birthday.
or not, but happy birthday. And I cropped your picture, and it's up on the website looking really fine.
We do have a viewer that had a birthday last Friday as well.
Oh, who's that?
Goofy.
Goofy had a birthday last Friday?
Yes.
Okay, happy birthday,
Happy
Goofy.
birthday to Goofy.
So you got to have a lot of suck with the maitre d' to have a camera named after you. I don't know how Goofy did it, but kudos to her. So happy birthday, Goofy. We should talk some PDC. We should talk.
All right.
By the way, remind me, we have to start doing product reviews, once a month.
That's the second time you said that today.
Yeah, because I want to make sure you understand this, so you can remind me. Because otherwise, you know how I am. I'm going
Right.
to forget.
Send me an
if I don't
email.
write it down. Yeah. Email all your suggestions at darttalk@gmail.com. We're still on Twitter, by the way, at darttalk. If you go to the website, there's a little Twitter widget in there that shows our last posts, which were mostly about the hockey game, the USA
right.
Canada hockey game, which was absolutely brutal. And let me tell you
didn't get to
something.
see it.
Trying to follow a game on Twitter is an interesting experience if you guys haven't tried it. You'd be surprised what people say. I mean, it's really quite remarkable. So what are we doing? Oh,
PDC.
well, yeah, if you guys look in the crawl. Oh, see, there it is. Look, it's in the crawl.
Oh, look at that.
Jeff, you made the crawl, and he was named music director. So congrats to him.
Nice.
Hopefully, I'm going to be at Blazing Saddles the first weekend in April. Hopefully, we can sit down and do some more music for the show. And we're going to keep trying to improve it. Next week, hopefully, is going to be the super-duper improvement that I've been waiting for 2 years. So, oh, wow. See, the Goofy Cam totally
Sorry.
catches you on that, man.
Apologize.
You're so busted.
Battling a cold.
Yeah, well, you're taking one for the team. I think that's pretty good. Let's see. So, did you watch any of it? Did you watch any of the PDC
I did not get a
Premier
chance.
League? I mean, it's getting to be kind of old hat. I think. I mean, I think it's great that they have 10 now, and the guys that they've got playing now are playing so well that it's really quite remarkable. I mean, you look at Van.
What, they used to have
Gerwen
8?
Yeah, they used to have 8. They went to at one point. I think they had one year they had 7. I can't remember, like 5 years ago or something. Do you want to take a break and
No,
have a
I'm
drink
good.
of water or something? Okay.
I just tried that. It didn't seem to work.
Oh, awesome. Well, don't get me sick because I have more stuff
Try
to do.
not to.
Yeah, so the Premier League, I watched part of it, and the matches haven't been that close. I mean, something happened to Simon Whitlock. Remember the odds? He had the worst odds of anybody.
Yeah.
And he is in last place, and he is just nowhere near playing like he was, a couple of years ago. And I got an email from somebody. I apologize, I don't remember who sent it to me, about losing it. Right? How do these guys suddenly forget how to play? Like Wayne Martle, if you listen to him, commentating, he'll be like, "Oh, I used to be able to hit stuff. Now I can't hit stuff." I mean,
Was it Chuck Knobloch syndrome?
or Steve Sachs.
Steve Sachs?
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
or
Did he
what
get the
was it? The
yips?
guy in Major League couldn't throw it back to the pitcher
Yeah.
until he memorized Playboy centerfold stuff or whatever. I mean, it's just. Oh, and well, I don't know. I think what I'll do when I post the show, when they ask for a like a cover, I'm going to put like a Ghostbuster thing on there. I was really sad about Harold Ramis.
So
I didn't realize how old he was, but it was really sad. I posted something about
He was only 69.
only.
Well,
Okay, well, I keep thinking of him as the guy in stripes. I
Right.
mean, he wasn't that old, guy in his 30s, but yeah, him and Ivan Reitman. Those guys. If you total it up, I posted something like they've made me laugh for like a year.
yeah, I agree.
All the times you've seen all this stuff, so that was really sad. Let's take a break real quick, and then we'll come back for a long fourth quarter. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark. He's sick, Steve P, and we will be right back.
the thing off.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, we're back.
You catch up on the podcast. We're just talking about the Corel Open draw. That's our breaking news. I guess the chat room got it before us, but in our defense, we're busy doing a show. Sean
Exactly.
Narain is playing. Who's Sean playing?
Mark Cox.
So we're going to get a Mark Cox voodoo doll for the show.
There you go.
Hopefully, I hope his parents don't listen to the show or something. But we'll get a Mark Cox voodoo doll. That's hard to say, and we'll have it on the table next week, and we'll put Sean's sunglasses on it, and we're going to adopt Sean.
Yeah.
We're going to root for
All right.
Sean, and hopefully he can get through. And now he'll be playing. I guess it'll be in the morning in America.
On what day?
On March 7th, Friday, March 7th. So we can talk about it next week. It won't be this Friday. It'll be the week after, and hopefully he's preparing well. I know he's been playing well. There's some interesting first-round matches aside from that one, though, that I kind of saw, and I don't know where we found out we had no sound, but
Right when you were telling the story about Lionel Sams.
about Lionel Sams, like, sticking it in my face when I thought he was dumping
Right.
to us in Chicago. Yeah, well, Lionel Sams is a great player, and he used to come to Chicago. 7-8 years ago, he came, like, I want to say every year for like 3 years, and then, I don't know, he kind of dropped off the map. But it's funny who shows up to play in this tournament. Like, there's another voodoo doll I want to get. And by the way, if you guys gamble, if we got, like, the British listeners who want a good bet, I would bet a lot of money on Michael Mansell, and I don't even know who he is. But Ben Burton,
Okay.
I hate that guy.
Oh,
I hate that guy. I buried him in Vegas at one of these qualifiers, so he had to chalk the next round.
right.
And I guess he was mad that he lost to an American, or I don't even think I had a ponytail back then. But he was like moving around whenever I would throw, and then when Robert Thornton was throwing, he would stand still, and then when I was throwing, he was like messing around. And I might have lost anyway, but I didn't think that was
It was
at
very
all.
unclassy.
Yeah, so I hope he loses, and I hope he loses in an embarrassing fashion. And I don't usually root against guys.
And who's he playing?
Well, he's playing Michael Mansell. That's why I'm saying everybody bet on Michael Mansell. And I don't even know who he is. So, I don't know. He's got names.
So
got
not
a nice
necessarily
ring
a
to it.
safe bet just because you're...
Oh, just
So-
I don't think
so
that guy
reason is-
belongs in this field, to be honest with you. And he kind of dropped off the map. He was playing, a lot of PDC events. He was coming over to America, and actually, he was really nice to me. I met him at the Mohegan Sun. Like it was like $400 a night, so everybody was staying down the street at some $59 a night thing. So I got to meet Matt Clark and Ben Burton, and they were all like really cool and stuff. So I was really surprised that he did that to me, in a tournament. But it goes to show you, you don't always know who your friends are. But Ronnie Hybricks and Adrian Gray. Adrian Gray's a great guy. He used to come to Chicago. That'll be a good match. What was the other one? Hendo and Yelly Clausen. I don't know what to make of that. Yelly Clausen's, kind of a bad word these days. And I'll just say that that's an interesting match. Some good players. Who else we got here? Alan Taburn and Tony Randall. Alan Taburn was, at one point, I thought he was inside the top 16. He totally dropped off the map. So it's kind of nice to see some of these guys coming back. We talked about, how, it's kind of like removing the deadwood. You should see who didn't make this field. Like Ronnie Baxter didn't make it. Dennis Ovens didn't
Really?
make it. All these guys that used to come to America and play all the time. And I don't know if the games passed them by. I don't know if they just don't work at it anymore. I have no idea. But it's kind of sad. John Bowles in the second round. Remember, we were all gung-ho for him, like the way he played.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to
So
him.
Sean Narain and Mark Cox are playing in stage 4. Is that the first round?
Yeah, that's the. It's a preliminary round. They have all these stages. That's what I was trying to tell you before, and everybody plays at once.
Okay.
So they have like a huge hall with
It
all.
all-
It's,
so
it's,
it's
yeah,
all
it's
on-
the closest thing to like an American tournament that you'll get.
So it's all on Friday, all these stages.
Yeah, the preliminary
Yeah,
round. Yeah,
right.
so there's going to be like, if you want to watch a match on stage 1, it's like a golf tournament where you want to see the 7th hole. You sit by the 7th hole all day.
Okay. Yeah.
So you really have to see this stuff. This is the most different looking tournament on TV that you'll ever see, because they'll switch to this match, they'll switch to this match, they'll kind of show you guys playing, but they won't be zooming in. I mean, it'll be interesting. Yeah, so John Bowles is there. I don't know. I didn't get a chance before the show to look at this. I'm not going to waste a lot of time, but because we could talk about it next week. But that's the big breaking news.
All right.
And there were people complaining. that the draw wasn't done yet. But if you look in the crawl, you'll see that we put the last of the Riley amateurs. They have like little amateur qualifiers for like the league players, and it's all run by a chain of dart bars or something. And so, at this Riley's, this guy won. At this Riley's, this guy won. And I think they ended up getting 24 people or something qualified doing it that
for this,
way.
They had to wait for those guys to come in.
Well, they had matches over the weekend, so they had to wait for those, and then they had to kind of divvy up the stages and stuff. I don't know quite what the process is for figuring out where you are and stuff. It's complicated, and then if you're higher up in the rankings, you get a bye into the third round or the second round. It's a complicated endeavor, but we'll talk more about the UK Open next week. As far as the Premier League goes, Van Gerwen is still nobody's even pushing
running through the field.
He's winning with like a 95 average. I mean, it's kind of like, really? I mean, people throwing up against the guy now. It's like, I can't beat him, and then he's just like, yeah, whatever. Miss 4 darts at a double. I don't care.
Right, but
I'm
it doesn't matter.
6. Yeah. So I don't know. I found that kind of interesting. But as far as this week's matches, which you'll see in the crawl, we have the results from last week, and we have this week's matches. Real quick, give me a winner between Peter Wright and Adrian Lewis.
Well,
that's the most compelling of the matches that I can see.
Yeah, I would say, Adrian Lewis is a slight favorite.
We should ask our musical director. He was 5 for 5 picking him last week.
Was he really?
Yeah.
We should ask him.
We should probably do that. We should probably get somebody on the show to do this.
I'll take Peter Wright.
We don't have to. You take Peter Wright. What do those odds tell you? If Wright is 7 to 4 and Lewis is 9 to 10,
Lewis is the favorite.
Lewis is the favorite.
Yeah.
Peter Wright basically said he was going to change his darts, and he was really funny about it. They asked him after his last match, he won last week, about playing Adrian Lewis, and he was just, I don't think Adrian wants any of this, but we'll give it to him anyway. It was kind of funny how he put it, so I kind of like that. Wes Newton and Robert Thornton.
Same odds. Thornton's a slight favorite.
Thornton's a slight favorite. I don't know. Those two guys are kind of similar to me. They're kind of, they have that terrier mentality, it looks like, when they play. Robert looks a little more casual, but he's not casual inside. Inside he's got like a little bar fighter in him. You know what I mean? And then Wes is always always seems very determined to me. So who do you like there?
We'll take Thornton.
You got Thornton, and who'd you take in the other one?
Peter Wright.
Okay, obviously I'm a little tired. Whitlock and Taylor. I mean, my gosh, if Taylor can't beat Whitlock, he may withdraw.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Taylor getting relegated?
9 to 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, he's been playing a little bit better every week. He won one of the UK Open qualifiers. I mean, it's not like the guy, he lost 3 matches where he averaged almost 100.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's writing the guy off. I mean, I think that's a bad idea. I think
it's a little too soon for that.
Well, I would take Taylor in that.
Yeah, so would I.
Don't you think? Van Gerwen and Barney?
Well, I mean, how can he not take Van Gerwen until somebody steps up and shows that he's beatable?
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
It was kind of like last year where it was basically like if all you ever did was bet on Taylor for about 6 months, you'd have made a lot of money. He won like 28 straight TV matches or something. That's a lot.
That's ridiculous.
That's a lot. So you like Van Gerwen there. And then Chizzy and Gary Anderson.
27 to 20. I don't know if I've ever seen odds like that.
Only British
overseas
bookmakers can come up with that.
Right.
27 to 20. And then Anderson is 5 to 4. So if you 5, that's 25. So Anderson's 25 to 20 and Chizzy's 27 to 20. So who's the favorite?
Chizzy's is slight. Oh, yeah.
Anderson is like by a decimal.
Right.
But the draw is 4 to 1. See, I don't.
Which means it's not going to be a draw.
Is that the sucker bet? The draw is a sucker bet.
Well,
right?
if the match is that close odds-wise, then you would think it's not going to be a draw. But then why would the odds be that close match-wise?
I don't know. 4.5 to 1, 4.5 to 1, 5 to 1, 5 to 1, 4 to 1.
It's
so that match is the closest, the best, or the worst odds for getting a draw. Best odds, whatever. So that match is, according to the bookies, a little bit more likely to be a draw than the other ones.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm getting better at reading odds.
Yeah.
You're helping me a lot. I don't know. So who do you got?
I guess I'd take a draw.
Well, okay. I mean,
The odds makers are saying that's the most likely one to be a draw.
Well, I mean, you look at Van Gerwen won one of the qualifiers. Gary Anderson
but
won
I'd
one
probably
of the
take
qualifiers.
I'd probably take Gary Anderson.
Really? Okay. All right, so you got Anderson, Van Gerwen, Taylor, Peter Wright, and who'd you take between Thornton and Newton?
Thornton.
All right, so you got Wright, Thornton, Taylor, Van Gerwen, and Anderson.
Right.
Okay.
And you were corrected on our music producer. He was 4 for 5 last week.
Oh, well, maybe I can't read then. Okay. Music director. He's the music director.
What did I say? Producer? Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologize.
Well, he produces music. I mean, it's not like maybe that's the title he wants. He can have any title he wants if he brings.
If he goes 5 for 5 again,
if he brings the
can have-
guitars to Kentucky and we can get some more bumpers and stuff, he can have any title he wants. Head bozo on the bus. I don't care. He can have any title he wants. No, Jeff's a great guy, and I'm actually going to see him in Michigan. And it was funny, you know. I'm like, hey, send me some bio stuff that we could put on the website. And you know, he made a point of saying, you know, he wants to climb up and climb up in the tournament rankings and stuff. And what I did not know is he's like a submariner.
okay.
And he was on the cool subs. He was like on the attack fleet subs. I mean, it's like, you know, pretty high
Heavy
end
stuff.
Navy stuff. Yeah. My parents were Navy, so I don't know. I have, you know, I always think highly of Navy, and I worked with a lot of Air Force guys, so I think highly of Navy. It's a family thing, I guess. I don't know.
All right.
Are we done?
We're relatively close.
Did we break anything? Was everybody in the chat room? We will when we end the show, you'll have to refresh, but we'll stay around for an after party, and I need some feedback as far as like if this stuff is working. You audio podcast people, I guess, just check the website once a week, darttalk.us, and make sure you vote on the poll, and we'll be happy campers.
Yeah.
You got anything?
No, I think that's it.
And then we may, we could talk about that next week. We may have to do some little schedule changes. We may have
really?
To, we
Okay.
may have to go to a Tuesday.
I haven't got that memo yet.
Can we do a Tuesday later in March if need be?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. Can you do the show by yourself?
Probably not.
Can I call in?
Yeah.
You set
I'm
everything
sure that
up
would work
and I will
out.
call in and
Yeah.
be a guest.
Let's give that a shot once. See what happens.
Okay. Anyway, next week we'll have a lot of news. We'll have results from Youngstown, I hope, and we'll preview. There's going to be a PCS match in Texas, I believe, weekend after next. We'll preview the Corel UK Open. We'll give you some more PDC stuff. We haven't been doing picks at all, but we can keep doing that.
This is some good information, real quick though.
Okay.
Hickory says who's ever listed first in the matchup goes first in the opening leg.
Okay.
For predictions.
Yeah, I'm not sure that who goes first matters. If it's a 14-leg match and it's a race to 7, even if you get to 7, the other guy. I mean, if all you do is hold throw, then the other guy gets to. You're going to play the 14th leg,
right,
and then if the other guy holds, it's a draw.
Yeah.
So they've really eliminated the diddle completely, unlike in America where you have to diddle every leg because that's all we can do. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get on that. So follow us on Twitter at Dart Talk. We still have a Facebook page, Dart Talk, but by all means, start going to darttalk.us because that's where you're going to find everything. We'll still, be on Facebook.
It's right
and
on the top of
but
your screen for those of you who have not noticed.
What is? Oh, darttalk.us. See, we put that up there.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the show next week. If everything, you're going to love the show next week. That's all I can say is, once we get this last change in place, you're not going to want to miss actually watching the video. And on the website, if you click on the archives, we have every single audio podcast up there now, and we have every single video podcast up there now.
Sweet.
So you guys can all, catch up if we're not around. And as always, you send your comments to darttalk@gmail.com, and we're good. Happy?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we'll be back for the after party. You're going to have to refresh. We'll put it in both chat rooms when to do that. Mystery Mark, Steve Penuncielman signing off. Thank you very much for listening. Take care, and we will Dart Talk to you next week.